Wow, I'm too bright. I don't like this. I should have started with a little bit more production value. But hey there and welcome to the PigCast. We might be a sinking ship, but at least we're not fat, which is the topic of today's entire PigCast. I've been a little bit obsessed with a show recently, and it's called My 600-Pound Life. Now, here's the thing, right? To a foreign person, you might see a title like that and think, oh, is that not just America? Is that not just how it is in the United States? No. And you're a bigot for thinking that. My 600-Pound Life goes over a bunch of self-indulgent, troglodyte, parasitic fat fucks, essentially going over their life and their journey in the attempts to be able to get surgery and lose weight. Now, granted, a lot of those end up being successes. They end up losing weight and end up bettering their lives. But a good majority of them, a good portion, end up just being absolutely fat until the day they die. And some of them have even died just because they can't control their gluttony. So what I thought I'd do today is to go over a couple of these and hopefully inspire you not to be a gluttonous fat pig. Now, if you want to leave a voicemail, I do have a little section where you could leave a voicemail linked down below. You don't have to make an account. You could just leave one. I do have a couple that we need to catch up on. Now, one thing, too, that I've done to myself is I've accidentally cut the shit out of my finger a couple days ago and changing this watch. So I changed the bezel on this watch and I've cut it. And it's got me thinking as to the human body and how impressive it is because I cut a really deep slit into my forefinger and it's pretty much healed. And it was there dangling. This little piece was just there dangling, a piece of flesh. So it's very impressive what we do with our bodies. And even more impressive when we use it for things like gaining in excess of weight. Now, I've been fat. I have to wholeheartedly tell you that I was a little chubby. You could see videos of me, for example, I believe in 2020, I forgot which one. But you could see me in videos in 2020, interviewing people on the streets for a PigCast, not a PigCast, a ham radio. Let me just give myself one of these. And it was pretty horrendous. I looked like a chubby little bunny, and I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I then subsequently and summarily decided to lose weight. As a matter of fact, today I'm on a fast. Today I'm making sure that I'm trying to lose as much weight as possible in as little time as possible. So I've consumed, I believe, under 50 calories all day. And that's including, I guess, a Red Bull? Maybe. I think even less than 50. I would say maybe 20. So I'm definitely inspired by watching this show and hoping that I could somehow inspire others to never get this fatty. So I guess let's hear these voice messages. Why did I say a year ago? That's kind of retarded. So this one is from Anonymous. It's from someone that I guess doesn't want to show themselves, but we'll just play it for shits and giggles.
早上好，中国，现在我有冰淇淋。Sorry, I forgot to turn my translator on. But I just wanted to say, what the fuck is wrong with you, PigCake? The Elisa Jordana stuff just happened. It's in the news, the live stream is still up, and I feel like as you being a guy who but as a guy who's not afraid of women, okay, and is based and zaced, I feel like you would be the one to talk about this and break down everything in that live
Okay, so I can't hear that. Now, one thing I do recommend if you do decide to record yourself is to have a little bit of audio quality. And what I mean by that is hold your phone at a reasonable distance to your face and talk into it loud and clear. Don't have it in there as if you're asking girls downtown about the width of their pussies. So that's a very specific reference, and I do have to give some context because one of my favorite types of videos are these dudes that record themselves on their phones and then interview girls. And oftentimes they're too cheap to buy a microphone. So what they do is that they get their phones and they talk into it. Now, one thing that does, obviously, is it reduces costs, but it also makes you look like a dickhead. And especially when you're asking girls about the size of their labias. Come on. So I can't hear that, unfortunately, for whoever left that message. You've wasted your time. Let's hear this next one.
This is your friendly reminder that you hate fat people, and you should tell everyone about it. Thank you and Godspeed.
I've realized those are from a year ago. Those are from a year ago. So I've realized now I said a year ago, and that's because it was from a year ago. So why don't we look up the actual recent ones? This one's called Wang's Chinese Restaurant.
This is Wong from Wong Chinese. I have an order of orange chicken, beef broccoli, a sweet and sour chicken lo mein, and order of ribs. It's ready for you to pick up. What? This is the number you gave me for order. Your order has been ready for half an hour. No, please, no. This is the number you give me on the order. You need to pick order up. We cannot deliver.
I've realized I've made a huge mistake allowing people to leave voice messages for me and thinking somehow that they were going to be of useful quality for content, especially things like that. I think I know exactly who that is, but let's keep playing it. Maybe there's a punchline.
You have to come to Wong's Chinese restaurant. Well, don't order ever again. I give your number to all restaurants, not to accept from you. You are a terrible person.
Yeah, that was pretty awful. There was no punchline. I'm sorry I wasted your time and mine. Here's another one called Hinning.
Hi, I'm sorry to bother you. You've been on my mind for about a week now. Sorry, I can't tell you who I am because I have a secret crush on you. I've just seen you around. I love your hair, the way it falls to your shoulders, the way you giggle when someone says something funny. I'm not a big fan of the way you walk, though. It's a bit mannish. We need to change that. Shh. I do have a crush on you. I just think you're like the coolest chick I've ever met.
So if you want to leave a voicemail, make sure to do so by clicking in the link in the description section below. Again, I don't think it's going to provide anything of value to the show. As a matter of fact, I don't think the show provides any value to itself. But you're more than welcome to leave a voicemail and let me know so I could listen to it live and preferably want to hang myself just a little bit more, which is what they make me want to do. I guess there is one more. I believe these are all from the same person. That's my hypothesis. This one's called A Blue Fucking Car.
Whoa, yeah, sounds good. She's got a nice set of tires and the windows roll up. My blue car goes many miles an hour. Cup holder holds a cup. My blue car has a door that opens with automatic locks. My blue car, and a parking brake for when I park up the block. My blue car, blue, daddy sure loves you. She's all I have, 'cause I don't have a girl. My blue car, but if I did, I'd drive her around the world. My blue car, I really wish that I could meet someone. My blue car, but it seems like girls don't think of me in that way. My blue car, blue, daddy sure loves you.
Now, one thing I appreciate is the production value of that particular call. I was just mentioning as how sometimes people don't necessarily have the sort of direction when it comes to having a conversation to a phone, and that had some production value. So I have to give you one of these for that. I have to give you a car crash for that, and I apologize profusely for anybody watching this either live or afterwards that you had to watch me hear that. Those three messages. Once again, I remind you, if you want to leave a voicemail, make sure to do so by clicking the link below. So My 600-Pound Life is a show that essentially goes over people and their gluttony. That's what it is. Now, I've watched a YouTube channel called, I believe it's called Big Craig, that highlights these individuals. Now, I don't know how far I'm going to be able to show you these clips without getting some sort of copyright strike. I'm sure that's probably going to be part of the experience here because this is a television show on, I believe, TLC. But it just reminds you as to the worst of the absolute worst. Now, I've said it many times. I've been called racist. I've been called homophobic. I've been called xenophobic. All the buzzwords. All right? All the buzzwords. And they're all lies. There is one that I wholeheartedly agree with, and that is fat phobia. Now, I'm not scared of you fats. All I had to do is just walk moderately in one direction, and I avoid you. But I am intolerant of the obese. I'm very much intolerant of the obese. It's just not a good look. You're killing yourself. And yes, you have the freedom to do whatever you want with your body. But at the same time, now I have to subject my eyeballs, I have to subject my eyeballs to your disgusting fat pig body. And that's something that shouldn't be tolerated. So what I thought I'd do is I'd go over these and look at a couple, and then hopefully, again, inspire you guys not to become the gluttonous fat piece of shit pigs. Let me look at the comments here beforehand. I sent you a wholesome message, okay? So we do have another voicemail here sent by Impaglia. So let's hear.
Hey, how you doing, Sweaty Berkowitz? Here's a fulfilling message for you. PigCake matters. The method is not the effect. Oh boy, yay! Hey, I tried. Give me some credit. Hey, PigCake matters. Whatever.
Now, I'm sure you saw me looking around just now, and it wasn't just because I was bored of the message. It was because I was looking for my gun. I was looking for my gun. And thank the Lord that the gun is out of my reach right now. Because had it been within my reach, this would have been a stream that would have been replayed on YouTube channels about YouTubers that have taken their lives on live stream. So just keep that in mind. So thank the Holy Pope was now gone, that gun wasn't anywhere near me. Anyways, let's take a look at let's take a fat look as to my 600-pound life. Now, again, this is a channel that highlights these individuals. Okay, all right, and we're starting off just fantastic on this particular show. I'm just telling you right now, this isn't going to be a good one. I feel it in my bones. I thought I had a good concept, but so this right here, your first sort of foray is an image of what is a woman with blue hair. You could tell that she's done rainbow hair before because of the roots that she has. I don't even know how that's possible. Maybe she decided to highlight that particular section. And another thing that's a very common thing when it comes to these absolute fatsos is the oxygen. They always have to have some sort of oxygen machine attached to their person because they're incapable of producing it on their own because of their fat, because of their weight, because they're incapable of having their body work the way it's supposed to. So let's just play this real quick, and I'll stop it sporadically.
One of the
so let me just
Dolly.
You could listen to the commentary below it. I suggest you guys look at the channel. It's tremendous, but I just want to look at the clips.
Has a lymphedema mass underneath her thighs, which causes her immense pain.
There's a lot to do. I've had a lymphedema mass under my stomach for 4 years now.
So thankfully it's censored, so you really can't see much, but you could still see a lot. You could still see a lot, and that's because of the many folds. Now, a human leg is not supposed to look like that. A human leg is supposed to be proportionate, sometimes strong, because it's what carries us around. It's a very big muscle. The thigh and the mogollon, as we call it, around your ankle and shin, so that you can move. Now, your body's not designed to hold this much weight. That's just a simple fact. So when you see this and you realize that's in fact a leg, and what is a growth coming out of the leg, you realize that not only is this not hygienic, because it's going to be impossible to clean inside of all those folds, but it's just ripe with areas where things could go in that you'll never find ever again. Bacteria, germs, just infection. And look at what her friend has to do for her, because she cannot bend over because of the gluttony to clean herself, to cleanse herself. Now, I understand I'm being a little bit harsh, but this is for your own good. This is a good learning video to show you as to what can happen if you decide to overindulge and be a little fat pig, a big fat pig.
So I have to put my leg up on the side of the tub and have China reach through there and scrub for me.
Now, if you don't know what lymphedema is...
Now, you're in the shower, and you still have to have your oxygen mask on, your little tube, because you can't breathe on your own. Boy, that doesn't smell good. It's not infected, speaking of infections, but it doesn't smell good because I've had it in a rubber band or a Band-Aid for a couple days. And I guess it didn't have enough air. So now it's getting air and it smells quite pungent. Hopefully this doesn't end up with a loss of finger as I'm talking about fatzos. But she has her oxygen tube inside of the shower. That's already a sign that you really shouldn't continue with the lifestyle that you have. She can't even shower correctly without the aid of somebody else, a poor soul who's also pretty fat herself.
It's essentially a chronic condition which causes swelling on the body's tissues. And Dolly's case, testimony from Dolly's mother, Stacy, the intensity of her situation.
So the blue hair runs in the family. That's her mom. Her mom is skinny, I guess, for lack of a better term, but she does seem to have her own issues.
Is revealed.
As a mother, there's times when I bathe her that I just can't.
Now, let's just take a look at this frame, right? The producers and the camera guys in this show really have to be strong-minded, because if I was a camera guy and this is what I had to shoot, I would actually try to shoot it. I would, I don't know, grab some sort of hunting rifle, and I'd get points from my local hunting group as to my load. And I don't mean the load that shoots out of my penis, which is, funnily enough, a lot of these women have kids. A lot of these people that are highlighted on the show have children. So at some point, somebody had to have lifted the gut, the gargantuan task of lifting this gut and inserting their penis inside of it several times until you manage to squeeze out a baby out of that. Now, you can't tell if she's pregnant or not because it looks like she's currently giving birth to octuplets. But look at this frame right here. Imagine this person looking at themselves in the mirror and wondering, yeah, this is good. Yeah, I look good.
Can't stop crying because she's so miserable, and that hurts me to the core.
The nature by that
I knew it. I just love her like a sister. Like
ever she can to help her.
if she needs anything else, I'd go and do it. I just love her like a sister. Like me and I've known her my whole life.
Now, that's the friend that's cleaning her. Now, granted, the friend is really not in a good situation to be talking about anything. But in this particular circumstance, you could see this is one of the worst cases. I believe she's actually 600 pounds. And you could tell by the title that says the most immature star. She blames everybody else but herself. She blames the scale. She blames the doctors. She blames the nurses. She blames her parents. She doesn't blame herself. Yet she's the one grabbing cheeseburgers and putting them in her face, which, by the way, sounds great right now because I haven't had any food for several hours, I believe since yesterday. So I would probably end up stuffing my face. But again, moderation, my friends. Moderation is key.
Life, but I feel like I did in my heart. And she's worth it.
She's
It
worth
seems
it.
unfair that
Now
people
again,
don't-
look at this. Look at this frame. Every frame is a movie. And by that, I mean, you see it and you can't believe it. You think that Marvel is the one that produced this. But no, that's an actual person. Look at the gut overhanging past her knee. What is a knee, I assume? Look at the fat, sloppy tits. That, again, the camera guys had to be there recording this and also smelling it. Because, this can't smell any good.
Dolly's life need to give her this amount of care for something that she's brought on herself, but it says a lot about how much they care for her. It's not as though Dolly has a medical condition that requires a shocking down. We see just how much food Dolly consumes to get to the size 2, and it's a shocking amount.
Just sit here.
Now, before this, again, the problem is overeating. That's the issue. It just boils down to having an addiction to food. People have addictions to things that could be healthy. They could have addictions to getting fit and exercise and making money. Those are things that I would argue are healthy addictions because they could aid you in one way or another. Having an addiction to food isn't necessarily a good thing, especially the vast amount of food that this person is about to shove down their gullet. And this person also highlights several individuals and their diets. And it's never, oh, I'm just going to have a banana. It's always these massive portions that essentially are family-sized portions. And then when they talk to the doctor, you'll see when they describe their diet, they always lie. They always lie. They're never telling the truth. It's always a circumstance of, oh, what do I eat? This morning, I didn't even have any food. I just had a pack. I had an orange. I had a banana. I had some coffee. That's not enough to keep that weight. You have to have a certain amount of calories per day. And you're obviously going over it if you're gaining weight on a daily basis. It's mathematics. It's math. Let's see some of the comments here. I apologize in advance for showing you guys this. Macabre Facade says, I just had a McDouble. That's very jealous. Is this a girl you have a pill in your wallet for? No, not necessarily, but that's a fun reference that you actually managed to remember, which is concerning. Ever notice that fat people never bitch about not finding bicycles their size? That's true. And you never see fat 70-year-olds. You never see a fat person go past the age of 50 because their bodies can't handle it. She's disguised as that guy's blue car. Also, we have a reference to one of my favorite bars, which is now no longer open. Jada Cole's 6. You know, in Jada Cole's, I would say this person is probably a 1. People will definitely look at her, but for the wrong reasons. Let's see this. Vaginis. When you stop buying XXXXL shirts and start buying car tarps or tablecloths from Walmart, it's time to change your lifestyle. I agree. So let's go back and see this shit show.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Food is more than just my reason for existing. What was that, like 15 eggs? Yeah.
Dolly eats around 15 eggs in
15 eggs. 15 eggs in one sitting. Now, some bodybuilders wait maybe 6 and then work out and then add, various types of protein to it just to get good fats and good protein. But then 15 in one sitting. She's not necessarily a bodybuilder. She's building her body, but in the wrong direction. You want to build your muscles. You want to target individual groups of muscles and clusters. You don't want to work on one particular thing when it comes to bodybuilding, which is your massive girth, which is what this lady seems to be working on the most. And it's an atrocity. I'm gagging right now at the thought of eating 15 eggs in a tortilla. And then you're going to see the cheese she adds to this particular plate in a moment.
one sitting. Now, I have maybe 3 to 4 eggs in my breakfast, but Dolly is eating 5 times that, and a dozen. So, eggs
this guy talks about the logistics of eating eggs in this particular economy, but I think that's a moot point when you're eating 15 eggs in one sitting.
Fat and calories, which obviously isn't ideal for weight loss. Dolly would have known this Friday.
Okay, so this guy's chilling his shit.
Of people will help
I'm tired of
creating this.
Let me show you the cheese.
To help me feel good. All of the things I hate about my life. But it's
look at the
into the video.
pack of cheese
all of the things
that she's holding. Look at the pack of cheese that she's holding, and then look at the rolls on her backside. My fucking goodness. These girls refer to themselves as curvy. They think it's cute when they go, oh no, I'm just curvy. I'm just voluptuous. No, you're morbidly obese. You're dying.
I hate about my life. But it's the only thing I've ever had to help me feel good.
To understand why Dolly eats this much and why she resorts to food as a coping mechanism, she opens up about her past and...
What a great angle.
And why she resorts to food as a coping mechanism. She opens
the cinematography is also amazing because they purposely chose a wide lens in order to show her entire girth as well as her figure, and they have her sitting down in what is a very awkward position where she almost resembles that of a couch. She looks like a couch, which again isn't a look that anybody should strive to have.
About her past, and it sheds a light on why she does this. Growing up, restaurant, but
I don't care. She starts talking about there's no excuse.
Any other stars of
this is, I guess, how she looked like before, which is still absolutely horrendous. And imagine that she's probably doubled since this picture. She's doubled in girth since this picture. This is already morbidly obese. So how is it that you're reaching planet levels of fat? So let's go through until she... My goodness, look at this attempt at some sort of attractive picture, maybe to lure some poor dude inside her fat, engorged vagina. And she has little tattoos So you know she's there quirky. And that poor tattoo artist has to stretch the skin in order to actually draw whatever it is that she wants to draw to represent her life ambition, which is, I don't know, putting fucking food in her face.
Dolly Wade was in the situation.
Let's see when she actually gets to the doctor. Poor baby, by the way. Look at that.
Her baby daughter, she was excited to bring up a child. But this was all too good to be true for Dolly, as Ricky quickly became abusive, forcing her to leave him. To make matters worse, just 6 days after giving birth to her baby girl, Child Protective Services took custody away from Dolly and placed the baby under the care of her mother.
Rightfully so, because she's incapable of taking herself, so she's definitely not capable of taking care of a baby. And could you imagine what that child is going to look like at 5 years old? They're probably going to be fed nothing but Cheetos for breakfast with fucking buttermilk in that bitch.
This was...
But there were complications because of my weight and because of all my mental health issues. My mom ended up getting custody of Trinity, which turned out to be a blessing. Ricky was being abusive and I was really sick, and I told my mom I can't handle this anymore. And so my mom took me to the hospital, and I was there for 11 days. And while I was there, I had time to think.
Dolly's mother taking care of...
She had time to think, and she didn't think about maybe taking the steps necessary to improve her life and lose the weight, which is my favorite thing about this show, that these people never take accountability, and they lie to the people that are helping them. So let's go through until they show the journey, the disastrous journey from her going from wherever she is to Houston, Texas, which is where the surgery takes place and where the doctor is that ends up telling them about their stuff.
Bigger.
It definitely seems like Dolly dodged a bullet in leaving. On a trip to the grocery store, we definitely see where Dolly's bad habits lie, picking the unhealthiest items that she can find. It really seems like Dolly just indulges in whatever she wants, whenever she wants, not considering the nutritional contents of her food at all.
It's my favorite. It is? Yeah. You can put it in this cart.
Oh my God, Dolly.
Now, again, the other part that just grinds my gears about these fat fatties is that they can't do this on their own. They always have some sort of enabler. They're always having some sort of person that's catering to them. And then usually it's because they don't want to hear them bitch. So they rather just feed them whatever it is they want to get fed and then not necessarily help them. They just want to end the bitching. They just want to end the complaining, which is what most of these fat fatties end up doing. This girl is balling. Disability won't cover that. This is why they made reinforced chairs. I bet she drops 30-pound dookies. That's the other part. Imagine the bowel movements. They took away the baby so she didn't eat it. You know that she's looking at that baby with hungry eyes, wondering, I wonder what that thigh tastes like. I believe it. Imagine the gash scent. Oh, my Lord. You know, I wouldn't like to think of that. As a matter of fact, I hadn't thought of that until you just mentioned it. The smell of the properly imbalanced pH levels. That is a quality that these people tend to possess when it comes to her vagina, because she can't maintain it. She can't clean it. But she is pregnant. She did get a baby. So somebody stuck their dumb dick in that. And it's not like they stuck their dumb dick in that when she was somewhat reasonable. They stuck their dumb dick in that when she was morbidly obese. So it's the fault of the people around her as well. It's not just her. Thank you. My goodness. I'm shaking because I haven't had anything to eat today apart from caffeine and nicotine. So maybe I should have something to eat. And this is kind of making me hungry. But we'll determine that after the stream.
But her addiction to food happiness.
So let's go to the doctor.
So in pain for Dolly as she thinks
I do clean those up, by the way.
Each other possible. Dolly in her.
So that's the doctor. This guy's based as shit. He doesn't have any qualms in calling you a fat fatty to your face because he knows. He knows that you've been coddled and taken care of your entire life. So why not? Why not have a guy here that's actually going to do some due diligence and make sure that he attempts to fix you? And some people end up getting fixed. Some people end up getting fixed.
now, and she's in the entire multiple car ride has only made it worse. Stepping on the scales at Dr. Now's office, the figure reads 593 pounds, a whopping 40 pounds heavier than Dolly was expecting, and she has the gall to ask how did that happen, as if it's unclear. In my opinion, it was the years of 10,000 calories a day that did it, but we'll find the doctor's opinion soon. Devastated, Dolly breaks down in tears, denying the possibility of it altogether.
I gained that much. So that makes no sense. That's impossible unless my scale at home must be wrong then.
I think this just shows
The scale at home probably can't handle that much weight. That's probably the truth of the matter. Can you imagine the audacity to look at a medical grade equipment, a piece of equipment that's designed to weigh you precisely, and you go, no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And then you have the ability to look down at your body, which I know is a strain for her, and think, no, it's definitely not me. It's the scale that's wrong. What?
how bad it is. With so many stars, they say they're actually undereating, or they're not eating that much, when the average person can look at their meal and know there's got to be at least 2,000 calories in that alone. Dolly's BMI is also 108, for a woman of the same height as Dolly, making Dolly, giving her strict
5'2". I just realized she's 5'2". She's 1 inch shorter than I am. I know, I'm a short guy. I'm a short king. Could you imagine my frame, but with 493 pounds? Sorry, 500? Was it 400 or 593 pounds?
Instructively, Dolly should easily lose 60 pounds in the first 2 months. Once completed, Dolly will qualify for Dr. Now's famous weight loss program. Starting her weight loss journey at home, Dolly
So that's the thing that the doctor has them do quite often, which is you have to lose a certain amount of pounds on your own. You have to lose weight so that now you qualify for the surgery, because then that shows that you have the discipline, you have the ability to actually try and attempt to lose the weight, which is a massive component. These people think that somehow, no, you know what? I'm going to do the surgery and that's going to be it. This magical surgery is going to solve all my problems. All the surgery does is that it pretty much reduces the amount of food that your stomach could take. So then now you're less hungry more often, and then you're eating less portions. That's what it does. But if you still eat more, you're just going to rupture that. You're going to rupture that, and then you're just going to be in a worse position than you were before the surgery, which is what happens. Macabre says 593 pounds. Gotta buy her a scale from the Elephant Sanctuary. That's what it seems like, because I don't think the scales from Target or Walmart are actually doing the job. So let's see her on her own attempting to lose 60 pounds, which is a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. You wouldn't notice it if she lost 60 pounds. You wouldn't notice it if she lost 200 pounds, which is pretty much me. I'd disappear if I had to lose 200 pounds.
Shows promise in the beginning, sticking to the exercises Dr. Now has instructed her to do so.
There's upper body that I have to do and lower body.
Isn't it funny too that what they consider exercise is just tasks that you would do on a normal daily basis? Like, for example, reaching for a shelf, which is something that I do often, reach for a shelf and have to stretch. This is what she considers exercise. This is what they have to consider exercise. Just standing up is exercise, because your body is essentially you're more than you're supposed to carry. And this is what this fat bitch has to do, and she considers exercise. I do believe that she ends up gaining weight upon the next medical visit, but I don't want to spoil it.
Me too. And I'm supposed to do them twice a day.
Look at the exercise.
So Cheyenne has been there a lot, and she's kind of like my trainer.
It's clear to see the impact her weight has had on her when Dolly is breathless just after completing a few exercises, movements most people will make around the house without even thinking about it. So the exercise is going well, but what about the dieting? It seems like Dolly isn't really a fan of it.
One thing that is not cool is that my mom got rid of all the junk food right when we got back from seeing the doctor.
You'd think Dolly would be grateful for Stacy's help, but she...
Again, same thing this guy's saying. Could you imagine the mom is attempting to help this fat, gluttonous daughter? She removes all the things that could potentially be tempting, and then she instead decides to bitch and moan and complain to her mother. Oh, why did you do this to me? Why is it that you've removed this? I cannot believe she did this. Maybe she's trying to help. Even when they lose the weight, they still have pounds and pounds of loose skin, and insurance usually doesn't cover cosmetic procedures. They're screwed aesthetically forever after a certain point. Yeah, but at the very least, you've lost the thing that's holding your body from being and acting normally. The sign behind him says they're always right. Obviously, something is wrong. I couldn't imagine the smell of the room, says Stefan. Yeah, again, the scent. And imagine the camera guy hired there to have to fucking record this gluttonous fat pig. And then her showering. And you see that in other episodes. Their poor kids have to wipe their asses because they're incapable of doing it on their own. So let's go through here.
Intake gradually, but now this isn't possible, and Dolly is annoyed about it. To make matters worse, you're not going to believe what Dolly says next.
I don't feel like these are changes that I can make for the rest of my life, but I do feel like I can do it for the short term, if it's just to get approved.
How on earth does this even make sense?
If it seems like the fat has gone inside of their brain, right? That not only the fat has percolated around their person, but it's also gotten and affected their ability to rationally think. So this person, this fat pig, she wants to only lose enough weight so that she qualifies for the surgery, as if the surgery is going to be this magical treatment, as if it's going to be it. She's not going to have to put any effort. You're still going to have to put a lot of effort, a copious amount of effort in order for you to keep the weight, lose the weight, and then maintain that healthy lifestyle. But no, she just wants to lose weight so that she qualifies and then somehow have all her problems taken care of for her, which is a running trend. So let's cut through here.
Hope I get approved for weight loss surgery, so I don't have to
Look
do
at
this
that.
first part
Look at that. She's got balls. She's got massive balls hanging from her thighs. Again, another red flag that maybe what you're doing is not the correct avenue of life.
too long.
It's a magic pill that you can swallow. A big wake-up call for Dolly once Dr. Now finds out what her actual motivation is. Stepping onto the scales for the second time 2 months later, Dolly weighs 576 pounds, a 17-pound drop since her last visit. And yet again, Dolly can't understand why she hasn't lost any weight, and we're about to find out why.
I'm having a hard time with my portion control.
Essentially, you made what changes to...
I stopped with the bread and the pastas and the rice and all the sugary stuff.
Okay.
No sodas, no juices.
Mom, how are you doing with her eating habit?
It's just portion control. I'll put a portion on her plate, and then later on she'll go back for more.
It simply isn't good.
Well, you can't. Here's the thing. Here's the secret to this. I could prevent this show from existing. Just don't feed her. Simple, easy. What are they going to do? Get up? Feed themselves? She clearly can't. She could barely walk around the house. So the secret is don't feed her. And then get noise reduction headphones and put them on and just worry about your day. Just do your fucking chores. Do whatever it is you need to do. They're not going to get up. They're not going to take the effort to get up. Or you know what you should do? You should put healthy foods around so that if she does decide to pick up her massive girth, her Snorlax-looking ass, she just goes around and grabs food. And then now she's exercising to eat. So do that. Do that. Fuck. I'm angry right now.
Good enough to stop eating sweet treats if Dolly keeps eating several servings of the same meal. Again, Dolly doesn't really understand how many calories is in the food she's eating. She isn't ready to give it another go either, wanting that quick fix still.
That's the other part. It doesn't matter. Oh, I cut the sugary stuff. Calories are calories. If you're eating 10,000 calories of chicken, you're still eating 10,000 calories of chicken. It doesn't matter. If you're eating 10,000 calories of fucking lettuce, it's still going to be 10,000 calories of lettuce. It's a lot of fucking lettuce, but it's still 10,000 calories. Mathematically, you're not going to lose fucking weight. So it doesn't matter. Oh, I've cut the sugars. You could eat 1,200 calories of sugar a day and lose weight. You could eat shit food, Twinkies, 1,200 calories of Twinkies a day, and you'll still lose weight, mathematically.
Do you have like something that I could go to instead of going home that could help me with my temptations and all this? And to help me lose more weight?
Well, why do you need somebody else to do that?
May I recommend the zoo, perhaps? The zoo? They might help.
Have to start taking responsibility for yourself and do some stuff for yourself. Not depend on people to do everything for you. And that is the issue that you need to work on it.
But Dr. Now isn't having any of this, giving it to Dolly straight. She can't expect to have someone lose the weight for her. She needs to learn to do it on...
It's the constant victimhood as well. Oh, look at me. Woe is me. It's overindulgence. That's all it is. It's overindulgence. You could control it. You could have the wherewithal or the willpower in order to stop this lifestyle, but they can't. They can't, because it's not just enough to have 7 Twinkies. You have to have 17. It's not enough to have just a small amount of rice and chicken or meat or whatever. You have to have the whole fucking thing. You have to kill 17 chickens just in order to fucking satiate yourself.
On her own, because what's the point of having weight loss surgery?
So let's go through.
Habits? Frustrating. She's just trying to motivate her daughter in the only way she knows how to. If she doesn't say anything to Dolly, it's like that she won't change at all and will probably only get worse.
She probably thinks leaving that little tiny bit on the plate is fucking portion control.
Her daughter in the only way she knows how to. If she doesn't say anything to Dolly, it's like that she won't.
I didn't eat all of it. I should be losing weight. I didn't eat all the fucking family portion of lasagna as an appetizer.
And Dolly and Stacy end up in a huge argument. Dolly storms out and ends up staying in a homeless shelter overnight. Now, in an unlikely turn of events, Dolly makes a decision to move back in with her ex-husband, the man who is abusive and a feeder. Is this really the best course of action for Dolly, to move in with someone who loved to feed her when she's on a weight loss journey?
And those guys have to have some sort of fetish too, right? They have to have some sort of fucking fat thing where they're there feeding her and fucking jerking off and just getting off on the fact that, oh, look, she's bigger now. And the pressure, oh, shit, no, I want you to sit on me. God, imagine. Imagine.
Not to mention, Dolly's 3-year-old daughter lives with Stacy. So why wouldn't your first priority to be to live as close as possible to your child? It's obvious that the only reason Dolly decided to move back in with Ricky is so she could eat what she wanted when she wanted without...
Exactly. 100% what this guy said. The reason she didn't want to go back home is because the mom is being nitpicky as to what she could eat. So she's going to go back to her toxic husband, the guy that apparently abused her. Why? Because she could do whatever she wants there. And it doesn't matter that her fucking kid is being neglected. All that matters to her is getting more food in her fat face.
Being judged, but encouraged is probably the better tolerable while staying at the home.
Look at that. Look at that. Take a look at this. Just marinate this in your head. She doesn't look real. She doesn't look human. Where are her arms? Where are they? One of the legs is hiding underneath the blanket that is her fucking little muumuu dress. Where is it? Where is the rest of her body? It's just fat.
The shelter. Philip just goes so well for a few, but it's what they've been her final chance to qualify for weight loss surgery. At Dr. Now's office with her new fiance, Dolly steps onto the scales again. 566 pounds, a 10-pound drop from her previous appointment 2 months prior. It's not the 60-pound drop Dr. Now asked for, and it's not even close. Dr. Now is concerned with Dolly's living conditions when he notices that Stacy hasn't attended the appointment with her.
Only lost 10 pounds in 3 months. So that means you have only been losing 3 to 4 pounds a month. You're still eating around 5,000 calories a day. So I'm worried.
And her face of confusion, of utter shock. How is it possible that I've only lost this much? I've put so much effort. I've put so much effort. Her effort is not eating that little bit that fell off her plate after her 17th serving of lasagna. That's the effort that she thinks. That's the monumental effort that she's putting into losing weight. Fuck.
Worried about that and your overall situation and a lot of things.
She abandoned her child to live with a man she met in a homeless shelter, becoming his fiancé in mere weeks, living in a hotel without a job, and her lifestyle is paid for by his disability allowance. Doctor now decides that Dolly isn't mentally ready to go ahead with the weight loss surgery, as if this wasn't obvious earlier, and refers her to a specialized psychologist for further treatment. Doctor now also understands, like we do, that Stacy was a real asset to Dolly and genuinely attempted to help her weight loss, not to mention that she is also the caregiver.
And then look at the fucking
Dolly and genuinely attempted
in the
to help
cup
her
holder.
weight loss.
Look at that. It's never enough just to have a regular portion. You have to have 2 liters. You have to have a drink that resembles a fucking 2-liter soda bottle in order to satiate her fat fucking self. And she has to have the oxygen permanently attached to her.
Not to Dolly's 60%. Treated her so badly, she has continuously picked up abusive men that are bad for her, which makes her feel even worse about herself. The psychologist also points out that Dolly doesn't do much for herself, completely relying on the support from others, especially her mother. Dolly decides to change her ways after this appointment, trying to become more independent by doing her own laundry and searching for her own apartment, eventually finding one for her and Philip. Now, it's a house share that honestly looks like a drug den. Their bedroom only has 2 mattresses on the floor, and the state of the house is in complete disarray, which is hardly a better option than staying with her mother. But luckily, this stint didn't last long, as the pair got kicked out and had to go back to their hotel. 8 months since the start of her treatment, Dolly steps on the scales for one final time in this episode. If she'd followed Dr. Now's treatment, she would be down 150 pounds by now, and that's without surgery. Now, if you're in the small minority of people who are subscribed to my channel now, as it's a loss of 40 pounds. Dolly is initially hopeful with this figure, but is quickly shot down by a loss of 40 pounds. Now, the figure on the scale reads
552. So in 8 months, she's only lost that much.
552 pounds, which is a total weight loss of 40 pounds. Dolly is initially hopeful with this figure, but is quickly shot down by Dr. Now as he reveals the truth, that Dolly surrounds herself with people who are bad for her because it makes her life easier.
It's really not hard, my friends. It's not difficult. But instead, what do you have to do? You have to keep yourself there. It takes effort to be that much of a fat fatty. It takes a monumental effort in order to do that to yourself. And she continues. And this isn't even the worst person. That's the worst part, that this isn't even the worst fucking person that's highlighted on the show. As a matter of fact, let me see if I could find this other fat fuck. Again, all they do is blame everybody else but themselves. They say, oh, no, it's that. It's the scale. It's not me. And this guy's heard every excuse. That doctor has heard absolutely everything. And yet, he still keeps hope. He still puts effort on his own to make sure that they maintain at least the lifestyle that he's trying to put on them. So let's see. There's disgusting. Yeah, this one is just absolutely. And the fact that she has her poor fucking kids. I think this one might be it. Let me see if I could show you this. Fuck. Oh, just look at the scene. Just look at this shot. She has to be 700 pounds. There's no way she's 600 pounds. She has to be in the 700s.
Because of her weight. After gaining and gaining extra weight, Jean could no longer use the shower after an extremely bad fall, and due to her size, meant that she became trapped there for hours. This means that she relies on her mother to wash her while in bed using a bowl and washcloth.
You'd think this was AI. You'd think that this was generated with some sort of AI, like a fucking ChatGPT or whatever the fuck, because it's just a mass of fat and skin. I can't see. Oh, I just saw her hand that's holding up her gut with what looks like to be dirt underneath one of the folds, and her poor mom has to reach in there. God forbid you put a modicum of effort, as you do, shoving plates in your face to losing weight.
While in bed using a bowl and washcloth, a humiliating ordeal for both participants. From her bed, Jean commands her family to complete the various tasks she requires in order to keep her comfortable, and we learn the root cause of Jean's food addiction.
I'm happy as long as I keep eating, so I think that feeling is what I'm addicted.
What if happiness is you killing children? Makes you happy? Should you keep doing it just because it makes you happy? No. What if shitting all over a Subaru makes you happy? Should you do it? No, you shouldn't keep doing it because it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Sometimes things that make you happy are really bad for you. Like shoving pounds, not just a pound of meat. You remember Hungry Man from back in the day? Those Hungry Man foods that used to fucking, a pound of food. And you'd put it in a microwave and it'd be like a chicken, it'd be a brownie, it'd be some rice. Imagine having, 30 of those in one sitting. That's what it takes to have a body like that. That's what it takes. So it makes you happy? Now they give you a 24-hour ban from commenting, or you're talking about YouTube. Yeah, I miss good YouTube. I miss back when you could say things on YouTube and not get the ban hammer or them shadow ban your account. I miss those days. Unfortunately, those days are long gone. Speaking of long gone.
was dealing with when things got
Let's see
really
what
bad.
she eats.
Growing up with a single mother, to supply her with down-to-earth sugary soda drinks and snacks as a way of revenge to get back at her for all of the horrible things.
What I would go to. So when my grandmother would beat me or say something horrible to me, what I would go
Look at the... That's not 15 eggs. That has to be 35 fucking eggs and what, 4 sausages, 4 full-size sausage links on top of a fucking burnt bagel with ketchup on it.
go to make me feel better was food. So I started to get a little
Being over pudding, as we all
Let's
mother
see.
trumpet as it were bizarre, just didn't have much support growing up as old, and she felt like she couldn't fit
I
all
want
the
to skip to the
qualifications
part where
massive with
they mention her on the way to the actual place in Houston. That's what I want to skip to, because that to me is the most interesting part. Also, the abuse that she gives her family. Fuck you. Try to get up. Fine, you feed yourself.
with Dr. Now, and she's way.
I'm not getting out here. I don't really have to go right now. I just want a cigarette and I want to try to calm down because I'm getting really anxious.
Get me a soda, a really big one, please. I need something with sugar to help my nerves.
The pain and discomfort.
I. It's never them. It's always you. It's always this overindulgence for yourself. You never care about anybody else in your fucking family, the ones that are there wiping you with a washcloth and a fucking basin because you can't step in the shower because of your immense folds. I need a cigarette. I need something sugary to calm my nerves.
Gene instantly
about how big I am. And I don't need to deal with that. So I'm just not getting in comments about
This is the other part that's also just fucking aggravating. That she has a camera crew on her, right? Obviously, they're filming a show. But she's assuming that people are looking at her because she's a fat piece of shit.
staring and laughing at her.
already staring at me and probably making comments about how big I am. And I don't need to deal with that. So I'm just not getting out because people are jerks.
There were people over there on the grass staring and pointing, just like I told you. And this lady just drove.
Look at the size of the drinks. The size of the fucking drinks. Are you having a laugh? Is this a prank? What is happening here?
Drove by and slowed down and just stared at me.
You don't have to worry about it. I hate people. I hate people.
Because people are looking, you have a camera crew. Obviously, people are looking to see what they're shooting, what they're fucking recording. You fat fuck.
They think that having some kind of disability, that it's funny, you know, because they're normal.
It is funny because you look like a couch. You look like a piece of furniture. So it is funny. It is very funny.
Or whatever.
Should assume even that Jean who scares. Show where first appointment with Dr. Now, Jean steps on the scales for the first time in years, weighing
702 pounds. 702 pounds. She's going to car territory. She's weighing as much as a fucking Yaris at this point.
2 pounds, making her one of the heaviest people ever on the show. Jean is absolutely more is home and wait to die.
Okay, so how do you think we address that?
I think getting the weight loss surgery, I think that would help.
What is the problem that you think the solution is weight loss surgery?
Because I'm too heavy and I can't do it without it.
Okay, so you decided already what the solution is for your problem. But I got news for you. That solution is not the solution for your problem. Your problem is your eating disorder, and surgery does not correct eating disorder.
Okay, I understand that.
I hope you do.
As we've seen before, the stars just expect to be given weight loss surgery over potentially even more. Their stomachs are stretched to their...
Again, 8,000 to 10,000 calories a single day. Weight loss is a very simple formula. Eat less than what your body requires in order for you to function. Eat less. If your body requires 2,000 calories a day, you eat 1,700 calories a day, you will lose weight. You will lose weight mathematically. At some point, you're going to plateau. You're going to plateau at 1,700. So then if you want to lose more, obviously, you're gonna lose. You're gonna have to eat less calories. But that's a simple mathematical formula. So what the doctor recommends is for her to lose, or her to eat 1,200 calories a day. That's it. Keep it at 1,200 calories. And people don't understand calories. When you have somebody and they assume that this is a cup, no, a cup, it's like this big. So when you have a cup of anything, you got to really keep in mind portions. This fat piece of shit is eating 8,000 to 10,000 calories every single day to maintain 702 pounds. That takes effort. That's not just a little bit of effort. That's monumental effort to be a fat fuck. Are you having a laugh? He's spending too much time in England. I know. I need a...
Be better. Be better. Be better. Be better.
I need to be better. I need to stop with these English isms. I haven't been there in a while. Peter's trying to get me back. Peter's trying to get me back so we could do a fucking thing that we have to do. I'm not happy about it. She's built like a Mini Cooper. She's built like a massive Cooper. She needs to move to the moon so she could walk like a normal person. That's 200 pounds over a quarter ton. Car territory, says Castle. Yeah, I could be funny when I'm making fun of these fat fucks.
A few useful tool for weight loss over extended periods of time, but Jean doesn't want to say it this way at all.
You are responsible for your behavior, and you are responsible for your eating habit, and surgery is not going to correct that.
No, but it'll give me the tool to help with it.
If you want a different life, you have to be ready to do something about it.
Even looking back at how she gained all of this weight, Jean is again being unrealistic as she can't admit to the extent of her eating. When Dr. Now asks Jean what an average day in her life looks like on her diet, Jean is anything but honest.
Okay, tell me a typical day. What do you eat?
My dad likes to make eggs and cheese and toast.
Okay, so you eat for lunch usually what do you eat?
I normally don't eat lunch.
Whatever label.
Could you imagine Harry Potter and the audacity of this bitch? To look at this doctor who specializes in weight loss patients. To look at this doctor who's had 50 years of experience and say, I typically don't eat lunch, looking like that. Looking like the fucking Kool-Aid man. She has the audacity to look at this doctor in the face. The doctor has the audacity to look back at her many faces. That was bad. That was a bad attempt. I'm sorry. I had a bit in there. I had a good bit in there. I'm sorry, but I didn't verbalize it good. She looks like the Kool-Aid man. Let's go back to that.
You giving it? What do you eat?
Well, we can call it dinner, but like if we get pizza, I'll have all the pizza except for 2 slices because I'm hungry.
Okay, so then after that, what do you eat?
If I get hungry, I'll have like an orange.
If I get hungry, I'll have like an orange. Like an orange. Like an orange. 1 orange. Is what this fat bitch is telling this doctor.
And after that?
That's it.
Till you go to bed?
Yeah, usually.
Okay, that's a lot, but you're still leaving a lot out.
We need more people like this. I was about to say an N-word. I was about to say the soft A on this one. We need more like this around. Where he's not going to coddle her. He's not going to fucking kowtow, literally, pun intended, to her. He's going to say it right to her face. That's a lie. Because there's no way that for breakfast you had eggs and toast. You don't eat lunch. And then you'll have a pizza, but you'll leave 2 slices. Out of how many, my dear? Out of how many?
Out, because that will get you out to over 700 pounds. So you're already blaming your weight on other things, and now you're lying to me about how much you eat. So I'm very concerned right now.
Now, surprisingly, even when Dr. Now asks Jean's mother what she eats, she lies too, stating that they eat regular meals in small portions, and the only snacks they eat are fruit and the occasional half-diet soda drink. If this was true, there would be no way Jean would weigh anything.
She can't even sit down without struggling. Look at that. Sitting down is a struggle. This is Inception. The couch is sitting on the couch. This is a fucking Rick and Morty episode.
Close to 700 pounds, and it's always the same with these patients. They think they're the exception of the rule of weight gain, and if 80% of the things are on bleeding because the skin just isn't able to heal properly. Concerned for her, Dr. Now instructs Jean to stay a night in the hospital to run some tests and see how serious this issue is. Her skin issue gets dangerous as it begins pouring with blood. In an emergency, Jean's mother calls for the nurses to come in. The situation is escalated to Dr. Now, where he finds that, and please be warned, this is genuinely disgusting, Jean's mother is not washing her well enough after she uses the bathroom, so her wound has become infected with fecal matter, which Dr. Now has to clean and scrape away from the dead flesh. Her wound is so serious that Dr. Now predicts that if she hadn't come to the hospital when she did, the skin infection would have become even more infected.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine being such a morbidly obese, fat fucking pig that you have a wound near the area that people would consider to be your anus, and shit has gone in there and it's now infected? Is that not a wake-up call? Is that not a fucking wake-up call? Is that not it? Would you think that that is, because that's not even bedrock. That's below. If we're fucking playing Minecraft, there has to be another subset to be where she is currently. You'd think that that would be enough for her to make the changes necessary. Ozempic. Get injected. All right? Lose the habit.
And as the diet, Jean is relieved to find that she weighs 685 pounds, 17 pounds down from when she arrived at her first appointment. By the end of the hospital stay, Jean loses 53 pounds in total, making her 650 pounds. Continuing her weight loss at home, Jean tries to motivate herself to exercise more by feeding her 9 dogs and refilling their water throughout the day. But this has its negative consequences too, as Jean struggles to keep her wound clean because of the bacteria from having so many dogs in such a small house. But Jean wants to continue her weight from having so many dogs too, as Jean struggles to keep her wound clean because of the bacteria from having feeding her 9 dogs.
I glossed over that. 9 dogs? This bitch has 9 dogs?
And refilling their water throughout the day. But this has its negative consequences too, as Jean struggles to keep her wound clean because of the bacteria from having so many dogs in such a small house. But Jean wants to continue her weight loss journey, asking her mother to follow the meal plan that Dr. Now gave them. Jean must lose another 50 pounds by herself within the next month to qualify for weight loss surgery. But as we'll come to see, it won't quite work out that way. At her next appointment a month later, Jean steps on the scales again, reading 678 pounds, meaning that Jane gained 29 pounds at home rather than losing 50.
Now, at this point, it's like when you're a billionaire and you make $1 million, it's like, oh, okay, all right, more money. When you're 700 pounds and you lose 30 pounds, it's negligible, right? If I lose 30 pounds, it's very, very noticeable. If a normal person loses 30 pounds. So for her, 30 pounds is still a monumental amount of weight to lose for anybody. But for them, you can't just lose a couple dozen pounds. You have to lose a sizable amount of weight. You have to put the effort in there, which is what these fatsos don't seem to understand. They think that the surgery is magical, but it's exactly what the doctor said. It doesn't fix your eating disorder.
Excuses.
There's no way you're eating 1,200 calories. There's no way you're eating 2,000 calories. There's no way you're eating 4,000 calories. That math doesn't add up.
Lying through her teeth yet again, Jean is adamant she only ate 1,200 calories a day, sticking to the diet that Dr. Now gave her. But we all know this isn't true. She's desperate for the weight loss surgery and will say absolutely anything in order to qualify for it.
Eating too much.
Okay, I won't overeat anymore. I will make sure that it's the 1,200 calories, because I'm going to prove you wrong that I can do this.
She doesn't. She doesn't prove him wrong.
I'm going to do it.
You told me 2 months ago that you will do it.
But actually doing the work is a different story. Jean's time is running out, and losing the weight is the only way she can avoid certain death. They are in complete denial about
That's when you overfeeding her too.
I understand that. I'm screwing up.
No, you don't. You're both lying. And you don't plan on changing.
If I didn't know I had a problem, I wouldn't be here to begin with. I know that this is my last chance. I know that I'm dying. I know that I'm not going to make it if I don't get help, and I'm trying to do whatever I can.
You're trying to do whatever you can, which is eating 8,000 calories a day. That doesn't work, my dear.
So I messed up. I'm
My whale.
sorry.
Dr. Now is much nicer than many people would be in this situation. Personally, I'm on a journey to her diet.
Not only did I not get my approval, I have to go back into the hospital with my mom.
But the cameras only record so much, and the truth will come out when she steps on the scales again in Dr. Now's office. As a month goes by, we get to see just that. According to Jean, she has worked as hard as possible to lose the weight, and there's no way she's stepping on that scale and she won't have lost at least 100 pounds. And as you'd have guessed, she was wrong. In the 2 months since Dr. Now gave her a final chance to qualify for weight loss surgery, Jean has lost a whopping 7 pounds. Her complete failure leaves her devastated as she loses her big chance for weight loss surgery.
Now, I said that I thought that this one was the one that actually shat herself on the way to Houston. I really don't want to show that because it's quite fucking disgusting that this, there's one person, let me see if I could find it here. This is a parent. I'm trying to find that specific one. There's absolutely no chance that this bitch in her head thought that she lost 100 pounds and only lost 7 pounds. Let me see. Is this the one? This might be the one that on the way to the actual Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Penny. Her name's Penny, which is just fucking hysterical. Let me try to find that particular. She's out here eating Lay's. No, this isn't it. This is just a bad mom. I'm trying to find the one where she shits herself on the way to the place. I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to fucking put it. I'm not even going to put it. She shat herself on the way to the actual fucking place in Houston. And she's screaming at her husband, "Oh, get me new pants!" As if it's his fault that she decided to eat a diet which facilitated her body shooting it out in chunks. Fuck. I think that's enough that I could tolerate. I'm shaking out of malnutrition and anger at this point. But it's a good life lesson to you guys, my friends, that if you guys have anyone in your circle, in your family, in your extended family, it's a very simple solution. Just don't feed them. They can't feed themselves. There's obviously somebody that's enabling that behavior. Don't be that person. And if you find that person, shoot them, hypothetically. But don't get to that point. Be better.
Be better. Be better. Be better. Be better.
Is that the stream? I think that might be the stream. I think that might be it. Anything else that I want to mention here in the tail end of the video? Not really. Not really. That just kind of fucking wrecked my asshole. But not as much as I'm sure her asshole's wrecked. And you can't clean it. Even if you have fucking nothing but gross fat diarrhea from the 27 Happy Meals you shove down your gullet, you can't clean it. There's so many folds in there. So I guess I should end this with how I usually end this, which is, let's go here.
Big fucking tits!
Good big size tits. Good big fucking tits. Not big fucking tits. Big fucking tits.